Defensive structures. I get a feeling an act of brilliance is going to win this one.
Well, talking of act of brilliance, Billy Slater, his try-scoring record here at Etihad Stadium alone is unbelievable. 13 tries in his last 5 outings.
Well, it's freakish, and you see when he gets the ball one-on-one with defenders, he's near unstoppable. It's a fast pitch here, and it suits him. His combination with Cameron Smith, you see there whether it's off a kick or a pass, he's got great vision, he's got great speed, but you can see here he stops and he goes again. He gets the top speed in a couple of seconds. He's just so hard to defend against. He's got all the skills. He can organise plays, he gets the ball, he can kick for himself. Great speed, he's tough, he's a match winner. He's one of the world's best.
Crikey, looking at that, how they're going to stop
NRL and supporters, and to give us some unique perspective on that, Dally Messenger was arguably the greatest rugby league player of all time, and his grandson, Dally Messenger III, joins us now, and you're an aggrieved Melbourne Storm member.
Yeah, it amazes me, Paul, Virginia and Joe, how tragedy can just come out of left field. I mean, I can't tell you how much Storm supporters in Melbourne were proud of their team. And it's a lot more than that, because even before he was chosen as in the Australian team, people who knew rugby league recognised Billy Slater as one of the greatest league players of all time. I wrote the first history of rugby league. I've studied the life of my grandfather. I often wondered, what was he really like? And then I saw Billy Slater, and he's totally underappreciated. And part of this, and I'm aggrieved about this, we're fighting a lot of Sydney parochialism. I come from Sydney, I'm now a Melbourneite, and to have rugby league here in Melbourne and to have the best team and a combination of a coach unequalled as Craig Bellamy, and that foursome of Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk, Greg Inglis, and there was even noises of Israel Folau coming back this week. They've made a culture where this club's been free of scandal, where they've combined as a real team. There's been very little self-interest. There's been great team play.
Except there has been. There's been some greed, and there's been salary cap breaches, and they've built it on shifting sands. They've built it on mistakes
Virginia,
and on errors.
Who's guilty though? I'm a Storm supporter. If the players, they say the players are clean, right? They weren't aware of what was going on. Now, who are you punishing? I've paid $700 for a premium membership for the season, you know, and now it's a non-season. I mean, I disagree with David Gallop. I emailed him last night. I really admire the way he runs rugby league, but to strip them of the premierships, to strip them, if they went to the guys now and said, here's your real salary, we're going to play it from the NRL, you're 8 matches behind, you know, come back into the competition, you know, on what you should be paid. Your managers or your organisers have done the wrong thing by you. I mean, these guys are really dedicated sports people, and they're very talented. And what's more, they're intelligent, really intelligent players, Slater especially, and Bellamy. And I just know the culture that's there is unique in the history of rugby league. So you can't punish innocent people. You're punishing innocent players. That's what's happening.
But it's a culture based on the betrayal of the rest of the competition.
Well, Joe, I don't quite agree with that. I mean, I agree with the money thing's important, but I know these guys, or I know some of them anyway, and they're not interested in money. They've got to have money. They've got to have a lot of money because their shelf life is short. You know, that's fair enough. But if someone comes along and says, well, this is part of your salary, you know, this is all kosher, you know, they don't question that. Their mind's on rugby league. And now, at the prime of their sporting life, these, you know, like the equivalent of Tiger Woods in golf. This is a unique, wonderful team, and to cut them off now is tragic. You know, it's tragic for Australian sport. It's tragic for Australian culture.
If they did what you said, though, and reinstated the team, paid them what they were supposed to be paid from this point on, if they came back and won the premiership this year, it would turn the competition into a joke, because they'd still be labelled cheats by the fans of other teams.
But if they're 8-10 points behind and they came from, they deserve to win. You know, they deserve to win. They've got to find a formula, and the NRL has to be at fault here somewhere. In this computer age, why doesn't everybody's salary for every team come from a central point? Then you don't have to go around investigating clubs. I mean, there's something wrong with their setup. And there's talk too that other clubs have done it, and you just know in your bones, I've lived enough life, every job has its lurks and perks, you know, and someone said, well, this is okay, this is acceptable, you know, who knows?
On that score, do you think the players should have maybe spoken up a little earlier, because they were receiving their extra match payments and they were receiving them on match days and after winning, and you don't have to be a genius to figure out that if we're all getting that's a heck of a lot of money, it must be taking us above the cap. Should they have spoken out or ask some questions?
Yes, oh totally. I mean, if they felt that they were really, you know, if it was really conveyed to them that this was the amount of money you're getting, no extras are allowed, and they've accepted it, they're morally guilty. And they've got to cop it. But I doubt that. I haven't heard one whisper yet that Slater or Smith or Craig Bell... I heard Craig Bellamy last night. He was devastated. He didn't know anything about it. And you know, the thing is, there's no culture being bred, like drugs, you know, the culture, you warn you take, you know, Wayne, what's his name, the cricketer, Sean...
I'm not sure who you mean. Shane Moore?
Shane Moore. You know, he takes some diuretic. He's out for 12 months. But he was warned 10 times. You know, if you do this, this is what happens to you. So there's been no warning culture in all this, you know?
As a fan of the club, do you feel betrayed by the club?
Oh, I feel betrayed by the people that are responsible. Yeah, I don't feel... See, when you say the club is the supporters and the players and the administrators. If there's a group of administrators that have sort of manipulated this, I feel betrayed by them. I don't feel betrayed by the players. I think they're the most wonderful lot of players any rugby league fan has ever seen.
What happens now then to the Melbourne Storm, to rugby league in Melbourne? Will you go to the games? Because the problem that I have now is I can imagine that these players don't want to stay. At the end of the year, they'll want to leave. And who's going to watch the games?
Paul, that's the $64,000 question. That's what I'm really saying to you three. They've got to get a formula where the fans can come along and the players can play, and the punishment's adequate. You know, that's what they haven't done. It's just come in. It's too harsh, and it'll be too destructive. Not just of Melbourne Rugby League, not just of the greatest team around for a long time, the Storm. And I don't think it's all due to money. I think it's the coaching and the culture that's contributed much more than the money. I think it's going to hurt rugby league. You know, and of course there'll be witch hunts everywhere else too, and they'll find other teams. I mean, it's got to have some kind of common sense outcome where the game can stay together, and the game in Melbourne.
Well, the Storm plays in a couple of days' time, so we'll see who turns up.
I'll be there.
Thanks for your time, Dally.
Okay, Paul. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Dally. ABC News Breakfast can be watched live on the web from anywhere.